Hello, welcome to Kay's in the Garden. I'm Kay, and we're still in my garage where we are starting our seeds. So in the last video, we started with prepping our seeds, getting our soil together, talking briefly about our grow station behind me, and we actually got all of our peppers, our sweet and our spicy peppers planted. Except for 2 cells, which I still haven't planted those. And I'm not sure what I'm going to put in those 2 cells, but we'll figure something out. So right now what we're going to do is we're going to get started on our tomatoes. So let's get started, but I've already prepped with our labels and I've already gotten our seeds together so we can just add those to the soil. Okay, let's get started. Okay guys, as you can see here, we have our seed tray prepped with soil and our labels. We have an entire tray of tomatoes, a variety of tomatoes, but this entire tray is our tomato starts for 2026. In the first 2 trays, we actually have dwarf tomatoes, and I'm going to grow these in the green stock as well as grow bags. We have a variety of red and non-red tomatoes in the next several rows. And then we have an entire row of aromas, San Marzanos, and Amish paste. I grow a lot of these varieties because they're great for making marinara sauce. They're great for tomato sauce, tomato paste. They have a very meaty interior, what makes it really easy to can. Then I have some entire row of determinants. We'll talk about determinate tomato varieties and indeterminate tomato varieties. I also have a row of cherry tomatoes. I'm only going to grow 3 varieties this year, and I will talk more about those and show you those. And then we have some more red tomato varieties, some of our beefsteaks and our mushroom basket type red tomatoes. So let's get started and get this tray planted. All right, so I brought you in a little bit closer so that you're able to see the actual cells. But we're going to start off with some of our dwarf varieties. All of my dwarf tomatoes are actually from Tomato Feast. And this variety, the first one, is going to be a chocolate lightning. It is a purple black tomato that is a dwarf size tomato. These seeds are extremely small. Can you see those? And because they're so small, I don't want these holes to be too deep. Remember, we talked in the last video about the depth of your planting should be about the thickness of your seed. It's kind of a good rule of thumb. The next variety we're going to plant is going to be the Sean's Yellow Dwarf, also by Tomato Feast. Planted these dwarf tomatoes last year and they did very well. They didn't produce small tomatoes, so I'm not quite sure why these tomato seeds need to be so small. The next variety that we're going to plant is a dwarf pink passion, also purchased from Tomato Feast. Again, these dwarfed tomato plants are perfect for green stalks or grow bags. We have a summer sweet gold. So if you want to do more container gardening, these varieties would be perfect to save space and room. And this is another variety. It is a black/orange colored tomato. It has kind of a smoky flavor. We're going to move on to Hannah's Prize. I think out of all of them that I grew last year, Hannah's Prize was my favorite as far as flavor. So I think I have 2 slots for Hannah's Prize. So I'm going to need 6 seeds. Again, keep in mind I am planting starts for not only myself, but my kids. And in prep of mishap where something does not germinate or it does not survive an uppotting or a transfer into the garden, I overplant slightly. Since I have to start this so far in advance of the growing season, it's always best to have more plants than you need than not to have enough. In the garden community, it's always nice to be able to share plants. And I do know quite a few neighbors that also have gardens, so if I do have extras, I will share. And they tend to do the same with me, so it's a win-win situation. Now this variety I grew last year as well, but I can't pronounce that, so there you go. Also, again, from Tomato Feast, all of these varieties that I'm growing now are from Tomato Feast. And once again, I'm going to show you another variety. Oh, well, this is the Tasmanian chocolate. And I think I am growing 2 cells of this variety as well. So I'm going to need 6 seeds. Okay, I'm going to cover those up. All right, we are 2 rows down. Let's keep moving with our next variety. I've grown this variety once before, but it did not germinate for me. And this is going to be from Botanical Interest, and it is called the Green Zebra. This tomato does not ripen to be red. It is at its ripened state, it is green. These seeds are a little old. I've had them for a couple years. So I'm going to put 2 seeds in each cell. And either we will plant them all up, share seeds with someone or plants with someone, or they may not germinate. We'll see. Let's keep our fingers crossed that we have more success with the green zebra. We next have from Botanical Interest an ox heart tomato. Our next package is from Baker Creek. It is called not quite sure, but we're going to try this one. If you're not very familiar with starting tomatoes from seed, there are a lot of varieties, and I have a lot of tomato seeds. So some years I skip certain varieties. If they didn't do so well, I might not try them again the following year. But I don't want them to go bad, so I try my best to rotate. Our next cell is going to be the orange Wellington, and that is from Burpee Seeds. Didn't do so well with sifting that soil. Now our next variety that we're planting is not a seed that I could find at any seed, vendor, whether it was online or not at the big box stores, but I'm going to plant this one pretty heavy. Now, this variety is called Kellogg's, a local vendor of ours that actually sells plants as well as they will sell the actual tomato. This is called the Kellogg's tomato. And so it is a delicious tomato that I saved seeds from some of the tomatoes that I purchased from them. And I said I was going to try to grow them myself. If not, I'm just going to purchase some of their plants when they have their plants out. But I wanted to try and see if I could save some seeds myself from one of the tomatoes that I purchased from them. We have 3 rows down. We're going to go to the Jubilee. Now, I've had these seeds, I think, for a minute. They are from Haas. It's a Jubilee tomato, a beautiful colored tomato. And I think I've only been successful growing these 1 year. But let's hope this year is going to be our best. I think I purchased these seeds new. I think the last ones I had was probably too old. That's why I wasn't successful in the germination, but we're going to try it again. One thing I've learned is just because it doesn't grow well 1 year, take that as a learning lesson and keep growing. Keep trying. We all have our stories about different items that we can't grow, whether it's a vegetable or fruit or an herb. Our next tomato is going to be a Black Sea Man tomato from M.I. Gardner. This is my first time growing this one. The next seed is a Cherokee Purple. Some of the darker variety tomatoes, I have not been as successful as maybe the red or yellow tomatoes. And someone shared with me that some of the darker varieties needs a lot of extra sunlight. So plant them in a very sunny spot that gets a lot of sunlight. And I think I'm going to try that this year. We have a Dr. Witchy yellow tomato from Baker Creek. And then the last one on this row is a orange accordion tomato, also from Baker Creek. Isn't that a beautiful tomato? I am hoping to get a lot of these tomatoes. They're just so beautiful. The Dr. Witchy tomato and this one, I think, are probably visually my favorite 2 tomatoes. I don't think I've ever been successful. I know I've never been successful with this orange accordion, but I think I've had success with the Dr. Witchy, but we're gonna see. We're gonna keep trying until we're extremely successful. I'm going to show you the rest of the tomatoes that we're going to be planting, and then I will put you on a time lapse because it's just the same thing over and over again. We're going to be planting a tomatillo, which is the verde. We're going to be doing a yellow variety of that tomatillo. This is a persimmon tomato from M.I. Gardner. The Sart Roles tomato from Baker Creek. We're going to be planting the pineapple, also from Baker Creek. We're going to plant the Black Beauty. We have a yellow beefsteak that is from Eden Brothers Seed Company. We have Texas Star, which is a free bonus tomato pack seed from Tomato Feast. When you purchase from them, they will provide a free gift typically in your order. And then from my cherry tomatoes, we're going to try the blue cream berries. I hear these are wonderful cherry tomatoes. We're going to try them. But my favorite two cherry tomatoes, the sweetie tomato, or I should say the sweetie cherry tomato. By far, my most favorite cherry tomato is the Sun Gold. We're going to do the Boxcar Willie tomato by Haas. We're going to do the Mushroom Basket, Baker Creek. A beefsteak tomato from In My Gardener. And last but not least, the Homestead tomato from Haas. So those are the remaining varieties that you see here. We do have quite a few aromas. I'm going to try a San Marzano from Burpee, a Amish paste, some saved seeds from my Roma tomatoes from last year. We have some additional, both of these varieties are Romas. So I do have one entire row of Romas, San Marzanos, and Amish paste. So we're going to do an entire row of those. And then this entire row, we talked about determinate versus indeterminate. So indeterminate tomatoes actually grow indeterminate. They will continue to grow as long as weather's condition is favorable and there are no diseases. Indeterminate tomatoes will continue to grow, continue to flower, and continue to produce tomatoes. Indeterminate tomatoes actually have a set determined amount of flowers that it will produce. They will all produce around the same time, and then they will ripen, and then the plant will die back. So if you have a limited amount of space, or for example, I'm going to use these on Grow Back Alley. I'm going to grow this along the back fence, and I'm going to put these in the grow bags. And then as they produce the tomatoes, they will ripen, and then those plants will die out. I like determinants because they all tend to ripen at the same time. They also do not take up a lot of space, and you do not have to prune them as often. So with indeterminate tomatoes, to control the growth, you will cut off the suckers. When we get into the harvesting season, you'll see more examples of that, and that's how you control some of the indeterminate tomatoes in their growth. But with determinate tomatoes, you do not want to cut off the sucker. You do not want to trim them back. So we're going to do a row of those. Okay. So I'm going to put you on a time lapse and let you finish watching me plant this out. On tomatillo seeds, they are extremely small. Can you see that? They're a lot smaller than other tomato seeds. And with tomatillos, they require 2 plants to germinate. So you have to have at least 2 for it to produce fruit. Okay, we have them all planted. We still have 2 cells in this tray as well that I will have to find something to go in those trays. So now that we're finished planting our tomatoes, we're going to add it to our grow station. Okay, for the sake of the video, I will not be turning the lights on. Difficult, or it makes a bad view on the camera. So I will be putting our tomatoes in this section here, and I will be turning on the heat mats for these 2 sections. Okay, so I will keep you guys updated on the progress of our plants. And in about 2 more weeks, we'll start with our next item, which is about the 4 to 6 week mark. We will start planting some flowers, and I'm actually going to plant some more kohlrabi, so I might get those in sooner. Kohlrabi is a cold hardy vegetable that I can probably get some of those in before we get too warm. I can get those planted out quickly. Okay guys, we're at the end of the video. So we have our tomatoes planted, and we also have our peppers that we planted on the last video. I don't know if you noticed, but I did add a sticker here to mark a separation from where we have our spicy peppers and our sweet peppers, because I had one row that was a combination of both. I didn't need to label the tomatoes, as I did that on each of the tags, especially the determinate tomatoes as well as the dwarf tomatoes. I will definitely be turning on the heat mats, and we will set the timer for the grow lights. The grow lights will go overnight for approximately 8 to 10 hours, and then the timer will turn them off during the day, but the heat mats will stay on the entire time. It is a little bit cooler here in the garage than maybe in the house, but the heat mats actually help with that germination. I am still trying to determine if I'm going to put the domes on top of the trays. I'm pretty sure I might go ahead and do that. You'll see on the next video if I decide if I've done that or not. That will help the seedlings to stay warm, and it will also help stay moist. So I'm probably going to add the domes, but I need to raise the lights up so that I can get the dome in there. So please stay tuned for more planting. We will start our 4 to 6 week items, such as flowers. We'll get some of our flowers in, and then some of our other items as we continue to get closer to our last frost date in preparation for spring planting. So please comment below. Let me know if you have any questions. And if you're new to gardening, please keep it simple, keep it easy, and most important, keep it fun. Have a great day. Bye-bye.